strongly believe in that, like, everyone was put on this earth and everyone has a purpose, and in correlation to that everything happens for a reason to a certain person or people.
So everyone has a purpose related to that. Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
So, gotcha. So, we want to talk about purpose or... Okay. Everything happens for a reason. Which one do you want to talk about specifically? Which one are you more confident about?
Probably that everything happens for a reason.
Okay. Where would you put your confidence on a scale from 0 to 100 for that?
Probably like a 95.
Okay. You can move that tag to wherever is most appropriate. Yeah, sure. Okay, 95. And what are like some of the main reasons why they get you such high confidence?
Well, I believe in that because, like, I think throughout everyone's life, there's, like, certain events that happen, and then sometimes they'll be, like, very upsetting or, like, a good thing or a bad thing. Mm-hmm. But then at the end of the day, like, after something bad happens, usually there's, like, another event that will help, like, rebuild who you are. And I think through experiences that makes everyone who they are, and, like, you meet other people and they'll teach you things and you'll teach them things. So everyone, like, has a purpose. And that's, like, you know what I mean? It's like, let's say you have, like, a friend and they think, like, they're not doing anything with their life, but they're, like, helping you so much. It's, like, their purpose was to help you, whether it's super minute or, like, large with, like, a huge audience. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say is people can go through some personal experiences, mm-hmm. and they can just go, while going through those experiences, just believe that everyone has a purpose,
yeah.
or everything happens for a reason?
Yeah, for sure. Everything happens for a reason.
Mm-hmm. And how does, like, going through an experience relate to that actually being true?
So, like, I come from a family where it's very, like, traditional to be either, like, a doctor or, like, a lawyer, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
And at first, when I was going through the process where I was applying for colleges, my dad is a dentist, so he really wanted me to go do that, you know what I mean? And they don't really take, because they're not from America, so they don't really take, like, the whole, like, following your dreams thing very seriously. Mm-hmm. And then I wanted to go to a fashion school and just kind of go down that route. So at first, when I told my dad that, he was, like, super against it, and I didn't want to do it at all. And, like, just through the way I was raised, I thought, like, those kind of schools weren't, you know what I mean? Like, that's not a practical option. Yeah. But my whole life I've been a risk taker at the same time. Okay. Like, I really don't like staying in the boundaries. Like, I feel like you should just go and get, like, what you want to do, you know? I think everything happens for a reason, but I think there's also a point where it's, like, you're the only thing that's holding yourself back from going and getting stuff and, like, you know what I mean? Just, like, following what you want to do. Mm-hmm. So then finally, like, I realized, like, this is what I want to do with my life. I don't want to follow his path anymore. And then eventually it happened, and now I'm here. And, like, a year ago, I would have not thought that I would have been here in LA right now, because where I wanted to go to school, and he wanted me to go to, like, you know, a medical school. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, it worked out. And, like, I'm happy that I, like, realized, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That I wanted to do that. Because at first I was, like, super scared. And I'm really happy right now with what I'm doing with my life, so.
Gotcha. So what I'm hearing you say is this belief everything happens for a reason kind of helps you take risks?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if I'm, like, upset with a certain situation or I don't understand something, I just tell myself, like, in the end, like, the meaning will come out of why a certain event is happening.
There's some meanings that come out of things happening?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you currently in fashion school?
I'm starting in October.
You're starting in October? Mm-hmm. Sweet. Gotcha.
Thank you.
So, does it matter to you if this is actually true, if this is real? If this happened to not be accurate, would you want to know that?
I would want to know that, but I don't think that it would really sway my belief to the point about that people have a purpose, because I truly do believe every single person has a purpose, whether it's just, like, to help one little person, like, or a whole entire, like, group of people. Mm-hmm. But the whole everything happens for a reason thing, I really believe in that. And then, like, if someone were to try to prove that that is not true, I would be able to understand the scientifics behind it, because I have a little brother who's super like that. He's very into, like, the science and math of everything, so I always hear his side of that conversation too. So I'm very open-minded, but just personally, that's helped me get through a lot. The whole, like, everything happens for a reason, you know? So, yeah.
Okay. What would be like the second best way to feel like you could take risks without this belief? Is there any way to do that?
I think the second best way for a person to take risks in their life is, obviously, you should take into consideration what other people give you for advice. And if you're taking a risk and it's out of, I think, like, good reason, it's like, it has, like, let's say it's for your career and you really want to do it. I think you have to think, like, if you really, really want to do this and it works out and that's going to be, like, an amazing opportunity for you, I think you should go for it. And then if it doesn't work out, then at least, you know, you tried, and that can help you, you know, like, prepare and do better the next time. And I think at the end of the day, if you really want something bad enough, like, anyone has the power to go get it within them. Nothing is holding you back but you.
Nothing is holding you back but you?
Yeah.
Even if this wasn't true?
Yeah.
Okay. So if this turned out to be not true, you could still feel comfortable taking risks, and you'd
Of
have
course,
you'd have a
yeah.
way.
I'm super into that kind of stuff.
Gotcha. So for going back to this reason, personal experience,
Mm-hmm.
is this a reliable way to come to believe that this is actually true? If someone had a personal experience that everything does not happen for a reason, how could someone tell which one was more accurate in your beliefs?
I think that, like you were everything that doesn't happen for a reason, and they had a way to prove that.
Yeah, if they were using personal experience as a reason to come to the opposite belief of you, you're both using personal experience to come to two opposite conclusions. Is there any way to tell which one is more accurate?
Not necessarily. Like, if you go down to the science of it, obviously there will be some way, but if you're just kind of speaking in, like, the whole, like, everyone believes in what they believe in, I think that, like, some people's stories, if they had a way to prove that this isn't real, then they're telling that person, it's like they're sharing an experience with someone, and that experience is, like, goes back to the whole purpose thing. It's like their purpose was to show someone that that's not true, you know? They kind of correlate in a really weird way, but it's obviously it's not completely science, 'cause I know the science of things, like, obviously everything's here, you know what I mean? Like, everything was created in a certain way, and we're all just doing our part, like, our time, and then we die. But if you really get into all the, like, spiritual stuff, then I think that's when all these, like, beliefs come in, like, also, like, the whole karma thing. But at the end of the day, some people are open-minded and some people, like, just believe in what they believe in, and I think experiences make every individual person. So obviously not everyone's going to believe that, and obviously, like, it may not be forever. I don't know, everyone I've talked to, they, like, pretty much have that.
So let me just think of an example. So if you guys are kind of walking back down to wherever your car, or to an Uber or something, and, like, an accident happens, and, like, maybe your roommate gets really severely hurt, maybe gets hit by a car or something,
Yeah.
would you consider that happening for a reason, if that happened?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Because
Where does this reason come from?
that's what I'm saying, it comes out at the end.
What do you mean?
Like, personally, all my experiences that I've been through, where something, like, really bad has happened or something really good has happened, at the end of the day, it helped me learn something, or it helped someone that I knew learn something. And that is, like, that's just why I believe in that.
Helps you learn stuff?
Yeah, and just, like, you wouldn't feel happiness if you didn't feel pain. And at the end of the day, everyone has emotions, you know, that's, like, not even a scientific, I mean, it is a scientific thing, but, like, everyone's gonna have emotions, and if we didn't feel pain, we wouldn't be able to feel happiness. So,
Okay.
God forbid if she did get hit by a car, that would be very terrible, but let's say that was, like, the best experience of her life because she learned not to take life for granted.
So there could be some silver lining there.
Yeah, exactly.
If you got hit by a car and died, would there be a reason for that?
Obviously, that would not be a good thing, but everyone has, like, a way they're gonna die. It's just part of life. You know, like, it's obviously very terrible because we all like feel for other people, but at the end of the day, like it's gonna happen to everyone one day or another. You know, it's not like anyone could live forever. So you kind of just have to like obviously grieve and then accept it and just appreciate that person's for like being in your life and showing you and teaching you the things they did. You know.
Gotcha. So you're not quite at the top. Why? What keeps you from going all the way to the top?
Because I know that I couldn't convince every single person in the world that this is true.
So it matters to you if it's true?
It doesn't matter to me if it's true. If it were just my personal skill, not trying to explain it to someone, I 100% think that this is true. Like, I think everyone has a purpose, and I think that everything happens for a reason. But that 5% that's holding me back is that, like you said, there could be people who will show me their experiences that'll be like, everything didn't happen for a reason, or they're just like, I don't even think that has to do with like proving something wrong or right. I just think that certain people could have a different outlook on everything, you know? So like, you know, someone could have like the best life, like all these nice cars, this, that, and they still won't be happy. But then someone else could look at their life and be like, how are you not happy? You know? So it really depends on everyone's, like a certain person's mindset and what they're looking for, what brings them happiness, what brings them pain, you know?
Gotcha.
And not everyone has the same scale of what they desire and like what would make them content with life. So that's why I think that with all these things, you can't certainly prove a right or wrong unless if you're just going with like opinions. But like obviously, if you go down to the sciences of it, you can. But
Right. So, maybe like last question. What would you have to learn or find out to change your confidence about it? Is there anything?
my confidence about it is 100. I just put 95 because I was saying that you can't convince everyone that.
Okay, your personal confidence.
Yeah,
is
I think
100.
100% everything happens for a reason.
Okay. Are you stuck there for the rest of your life?
No, I'm at 100.
Yeah. Are you stuck at 100 no matter what you experience?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to believe if this is true or not. If this wasn't true, would you want to know that?
I would, if someone wanted to explain to me like the science behind it all, then yeah, that would be very interesting. But I've been through like some really, bad things in my life, and like I have a reason to believe this. And if someone tried to sway me otherwise, I would be open to listening to it, and I think it'd be very interesting. But I would say just the way like events have played out throughout my life, that's just like what I've been like I've learned, and like through my eyes, what I've like experienced and seen, like that's what has built up this belief in my head. But if everything didn't happen for a reason, and there was like someone proved that to me, I'd just be like, that's very coincidental that all these things. It's just kind of like it shapes you to be who you are, almost in a way,
It shapes you to be.
You don't have to say everything happens for a reason, but I just think that experiences shape you to be who you are, and it teaches you things, and you go through ups and downs. And I think that like a way of people saying that is everything happens for a reason, but there's so many different ways you could say it, just like with anything, like a picture is 1,000 words. So
Is there an example of something that could happen where someone could say this did not happen for a reason?
if you do like every little thing, like I went and bought this water bottle for a reason, like obviously no, but it's like I think major events that have to deal with someone like experiencing or changing something in their life that they weren't used to before, or like using someone dying. Like I've gone through like a lot of people in my family dying, and it's like really scary and it's very terrible at first, but at the end of the day, it's like you just have to deal with it, grieve, and then move on, and like appreciate that person and that they were there in your life, and that's the whole thing. Like their purpose was to teach you this and that and that, and now obviously they're gone, and it's very terrible, but it's just part of life. It's just everyone's born and everyone dies, and like you were born alone and you're gonna die alone, even though that kind of sounds sad. So everything else is kind of just like there along the way, and it's just like it's your life, You just have to accept the events going and do what you best can with it.
Gotcha. So, okay, well, anything else about that, Shady?
Shoddy.
Shadi?
Yeah.
Shady. Cool. Anything else about that?
No, that's pretty much all I have to say.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you so much, you guys, for sitting down.
Yeah, thank you.
Very
That
nice.
was very interesting.
Hope to see you some other time. Possibly, if I decide to upload it. This is my YouTube channel. Feel free to take a picture of it to remind you or something. I need to get some more cards. Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.